Welcome, Curious Minds, and thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Today, we're plunging headfirst into a really intriguing literary world. One that's got a reader pretty passionate, actually. Our mission? Well, it's to unpack the emotional core, maybe some surprising plot twists of a specific book, really figure out why stories like this can, hook us so completely. And our source for this is a fantastic review of The Night Prince by Lauren Palphreyman. Now, this isn't just your average book review, okay? It's more like a vibrant window into the mind of someone truly invested. Gives us a unique, kind of unvarnished look at what makes this story tick for its fans. It's packed with all those juicy bits that make you think, maybe I should read this, or at least understand the buzz.
And that's precisely our mission today, isn't it? To pull out those key emotional nuggets, the plot points that make The Night Prince, and honestly, this whole type of story so compelling, especially for those of you out there who just love a good literary escape, something with like a whirlwind of feelings and maybe some turns you didn't quite see coming.
And yes, this is read it or skip it.
All right, let's get into it. The Night Prince. It sounds like it doesn't waste any time at all. Our reviewer apparently jumped straight into book 2, immediately.
Yeah.
Said they read it, quote, because of that ending from book 1.
Ah, the classic cliffhanger effect.
Exactly, so you're not gently eased back in. Nope. Thrown right into the action. Which, sounds like a super effective way to keep a reader hooked, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It respects the reader's investment from book 1.
Some might say it risks losing people who maybe don't remember every detail, but here, sounds like it paid off.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. But what's compelling, I think, is how the narrative structure uses that cliffhanger. It assumes you're already on board, yeah. But instead of just coasting on that, it uses the tension to, immediately build on character stuff.
Right, no wasted pages reestablishing things.
Exactly. It just amps up the stakes, and you get that aha moment watching a character really wrestle with their inner turmoil and push their boundaries. That keeps you turning pages. It validates spending time on book 1.
And speaking of inner turmoil, at the heart of all this, we've got Aurora, the main character. Our source notes she pushes back much more in this book. So definite growth, agency developing. But, and this is where it gets really interesting, I think she also apparently retreats inside herself many times.
Complex.
Yeah. It suggests she's evolving, sure, but also really struggling, processing everything. It's not just a straight lineup, is it? Sounds, more realistic. Messy, even.
Absolutely realistic. And that's often what readers connect with, isn't it? Characters who show that authentic, nonlinear growth. It kind of mirrors our own lives. Good authors deliberately craft that kind of internal conflict. It draws you in, showing vulnerability right alongside the strength.
It's true. Some stories go for the clear hero's journey.
Right, but here, the beauty seems to be in Aurora's, genuine, often conflicted way of dealing with this new world and who she's becoming in it.
Okay, now we absolutely have to dive into the main event here. The love triangle. The reviewer was really clear. The love triangle feelings are heightened and complicated. And this is where, quote, a lot for Aurora to work out really happens. This seems to be the core emotional turmoil spot.
The heart of the drama, you might say.
Totally. So let's break it down. First, Callum. In book 1, he was the enemy, right? The werewolf. Classic setup.
The enemies to lovers potential.
But the reviewer quickly says, no, actually, he's a really good guy. Aurora adores him. He's been protecting her so well. And apparently that's just his nature. Sounds like your quintessential good guy hero, doesn't he?
He really does. The traditional choice, maybe. But what's intriguing here, based on the review, is how that very protective nature, even though it's positive on the surface, it actually stirs up a lot of that internal turmoil for Aurora.
Okay. Because
Well, she's trying to find her place in this new world of werewolves.
Right.
And she desperately needs, to grow on her own terms. So his constant protection, even though it's well-meant, might actually be, stifling her journey, her agency.
Right. It forces her to ask herself, is this safe comfort zone what I actually need to, evolve?
Exactly. A really complex internal conflict for her.
Okay, but then we pivot to Blake. And oh boy, this word gets really juicy. The reviewer describes him so vividly. Listen to this. Sarcastic, total red flags. He's not morally gray. He's morally black. He is manipulative.
Wow. Morally black, that's intense.
Intense is the word. In real life, you'd run a mile, wouldn't you?
You'd hope so.
So morally gray, for listeners, usually means characters with kind of ambiguous ethics, right? Between good and evil.
Yeah, nuance.
But morally black, like Blake here, suggests, consistently bad intentions. Self-interest. disregard for morality altogether.
Pretty much, yeah. A conscious choice towards the darker side.
And yet, here's the kicker. The reviewer says, but he's the only one who tells her anything. He's the one who wants her to push and fight back. I'm obsessed.
Obsessed with the morally black, red flag waving guy.
I know. So the question is, why? What makes a reader get obsessed with someone who sounds, frankly, terrible on paper?
That's the fascinating part, isn't it? I think the obsession often comes from a few places. Maybe it's the thrill of danger experienced vicariously.
Could be.
Or maybe it's this idea of raw, dark authenticity. He's not pretending. Traditional heroes can sometimes feel a bit sanitized.
Yeah, I can see that.
And Blake, even if he's manipulative, he's apparently the one pushing her, telling her truths, however harsh. He's not offering comfort. He's offering a catalyst.
A catalyst for growth, even if it's a dangerous one.
Exactly. And for some readers, that raw, unvarnished honesty, even from a dark place, is just incredibly compelling. It's about the intensity of the connection, the transformation it forces, not necessarily conventional goodness.
It's like a literary car crash you can't look away from, maybe. But one that maybe helps the other driver learn something.
Huh? Maybe. It's definitely about seeing a character navigate something really challenging, almost dangerous. There's a kind of catharsis in that, I think.
And this brings us to what the reviewer calls the true enemies to lovers dynamic, the one between Aurora and Blake, described as the kind filled with hate, which is strong language for a romance.
Definitely sets the tone.
But despite that, or maybe, like you said, because of it, their bond deepens. The reviewer loved watching their relationship grow because, and this is key, they both eventually see the dark side of one another.
Mutual recognition of flaws, maybe?
Seems like it. And even though Blake is fighting it and Aurora is apparently disgusted by it, the whole thing feels inevitable to the reviewer.
So not just romance, it's like this intense character journey, this connection forged in, well, fire and hate.
Pretty much. Which really underlines the reviewer's strong feeling that Blake and Aurora should be endgame.
The ultimate pairing.
Yeah. They even explicitly say they don't want polyamory,
Well,
where characters might be involved with multiple partners. The reviewer suggests Callum deserves a queen by his side, but I don't think it is Aurora.
wow, that's a definitive statement against the good guy.
It is. It really makes you wonder, what is it about this pairing? The one full of moral issues and hate. What makes a reader root for that so hard over the traditionally good character like Callum?
I suspect it's the idea that the relationship itself is a crucible. It's forged through struggle, through facing hard truths, maybe even ugly truths together. They fundamentally challenge each other.
As opposed to the comfort and protection from Callum.
Right. It suggests maybe a preference for transformation over stability, at least in this fictional context.
Interesting. But despite this magnetic pull towards Blake, the reviewer did have one biggest issue.
Oh, what was that?
They just wanted more Aurora and Blake. Simple as that.
Not enough page time for the preferred couple. A common reader complaint.
Exactly. They noted there's a lot of Aurora and Callum, but they were craving more of that complex dynamic with Blake. Especially, they said, as we learn more about what happened to him in the past and see him in his lands. Seems the story gave glimpses, but the reader wanted the full deep dive into their connection.
Which brings us to that interesting narrative trick the reviewer mentioned.
The dreams.
Yeah, the reviewer says, there is also a lot of dreaming parts, I think, to make up for the fact that Aurora and Blake don't get to spend much real time together since she is still with Callum. But their bond grows through these dreams.
Which raises that question for writers, doesn't it? How do you build chemistry when characters are physically separated?
Good challenge.
And the dreamscape, it's more than just a workaround, I think. It can be a space for, raw, unfiltered connection, revealing truths or desires that might take ages to come out in real-life interactions.
Like a shortcut to intimacy, almost. In a way. But the fact the reviewers still wanted more real-world time suggests readers also crave seeing those dream bonds tested, seeing the consequences play out.
Making it tangible.
Exactly. Validating the dream connection through action in the waking world. That's often the satisfying payoff.
Okay, moving away from the tangled hearts for a moment.
Yeah.
Let's talk plot reveals. The reviewer mentioned figuring out one big reveal kind of early.
Oh, predicting the twist.
Yeah, but they said it was okay because I still think the moment when it happens is epic.
Interesting. So predictability isn't always bad.
Apparently not, if the execution's good enough. But then, just when they thought they had things pegged, bam. The other reveal in the story was a shocker.
So a mix. Predictable but epic, and then a genuine surprise.
That's clever plotting.
It sounds like it. What makes an epic reveal land even if you kind of see it coming? Is it just the drama of the moment? It's often about the execution, yeah. Not the what, but the how. Authors build anticipation, layer clues, raise the stakes. So even if you suspect the outcome, the actual moment feels earned, satisfying, like you were in on it.
Okay.
Whereas the shocker reveal just completely pulls the rug out, right? Subverts everything you thought you knew. Reframes the whole story, maybe. It sounds like this book managed to do both effectively.
And it wasn't just about the main trio and the big reveals. The book apparently introduces new characters too, specifically Lachlan and Jack.
Yeah.
And the reviewers seemed to really like them, even wondered about potential spin-offs for any of these characters.
Well, that's always a good sign for world building.
Doesn't it? It suggests these new people felt, I don't know, vibrant enough to carry their own stories.
Absolutely. Expanding the supporting cast well is crucial in a series. They don't just serve the current plot, they add new energy, different perspectives. And yeah, they lay groundwork for the future. Potential spin-offs, deeper world building. That's speculation from the reviewer. That's gold for an author. Shows you've created characters who really resonate.
It's like a sign of a really immersive world, isn't it?
Definitely a hallmark of one.
Okay, finally, let's touch on the ending. Sounds like, well, a big one. The reviewer says, so many things happen at the end of this book that I was hoping book 3 would be coming out soon, but I have to wait until 2026.
Oof. 2026, the classic cliffhanger pain.
Right. That's got to be the ultimate sign of a successful, tension-packed ending, doesn't it? Leaving the reader that desperate for the next book, they're already dreading the wait.
It really is. Perfectly sums up that universal reader frustration, but also admiration. It shows how powerfully the book hooked them, generating that level of anticipation, making readers willing to wait years. That speaks volumes about the storytelling. It confirms how deeply invested they are in Aurora's journey and this world.
Yeah, that pull is undeniable. So, wrapping this all up, what does this deep dive mean for you, the listener?
Well, I think it really highlights how a strong character arc, especially someone like Aurora, wrestling with growth and these super complicated relationships can totally drive a story. It's not just about stuff happening to her, but how she changes, how she reacts internally and externally.
And it definitely shines a light on that allure, that pull of the morally black character in genres like fantasy and romance. Why do readers sometimes gravitate towards them, even over the good guys? Maybe it is that promise of a more, I don't know, challenging, transformative journey.
Something more raw.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
It suggests our reading tastes can sometimes enjoy exploring those dynamics that push boundaries, testing complex truths in a safe, fictional space.
It also really shows the power of a love triangle when it's not just a simple choice.
Right.
When it's used as a tool, like here, to explore real character growth, conflicting desires, forcing the main character to confront different parts of herself, it becomes a catalyst for figuring things out. Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, this reviewer's passion just underscores how deeply readers can invest in ongoing series. It's about that bond you form with the characters, with their journeys, even when maybe, especially when those journeys are full of all this turmoil, that connection makes a story stick with you.
So here's a final thought to chew on, maybe.
Yeah.
Given how strongly the reviewer felt pulled towards Blake, the morally black one, what does it really take for that enemies to lovers thing to go from actual hate to something that feels inevitable, even desired? Is it the darkness itself? Is it the brutal honesty? Is it seeing the shared pain? Or something else entirely that clicks for a reader and makes them say, yes, them? Something to mull over. Thank you so much for joining us on this very interesting deep dive into the Night Prince.
And yes, this is Read It or Skip It.